back at it again with another deep dive, and this time we're right back in the thick of it with the war in Ukraine.
Yeah, this whole debate about what the West could have done differently, well, it's not going away anytime soon.
Not even a little bit.
Yeah,
And this time it's Jens Stoltenberg, Mr. NATO himself, who's got everyone talking.
he certainly didn't hold back.
10 years at the top, Afghanistan, the Trump years. He had to navigate some pretty choppy
To
waters.
say the least, yeah.
But now he's out of office and seems ready to, well, speak his mind.
And what he's saying is pretty significant. We're not just talking about what went down during the invasion, but what could have happened before. Before the tanks rolled, before the missiles flew. Specifically, the West's decision to, or maybe asterisk, not asterisk, to arm Ukraine.
So let's just cut to the chase. Stoltenberg is saying that if the West had sent more weapons, and I mean asterisk a lot, asterisk more, before the invasion happened, well, it might have changed everything.
He's saying it could have been a deterrent, that Putin might have thought twice, maybe even backed down.
Wow. Okay, so unpack this for us.
Yeah.
What did he think was going to happen? Did he see a totally different kind of invasion playing out? Or was it more about just raising the stakes for Putin?
It seems like he believed in sending a really clear message. Like, if the West had put their full weight behind Ukraine, really given them some serious firepower early on.
Russia would have to take notice.
Exactly. It would have made invading a much riskier move. It might not have stopped things completely,
Yeah.
but it would force Putin to really consider the consequences.
But back then, everyone was so hesitant to arm Ukraine to that extent. Weren't they worried about making things worse? Like, wouldn't that escalate the situation, make Russia even more aggressive?
Oh, absolutely. Provoking Russia was a huge concern. It felt like adding fuel to the fire. The thought was that if the West sent all those weapons, well, it would be seen as...
Taking sides.
Exactly. And that might have pushed Russia to act even more recklessly.
So you're saying that some people thought sending Ukraine all those big weapons was basically the same as the West publicly picking a side in the fight.
That's it. And looking back, Stoltenberg says he didn't push hard enough. With hindsight, he sees things differently.
I mean, admitting you should have pushed harder. That's a tough one to swallow, isn't it? It makes you wonder what was going on behind closed doors. We know Ukraine was basically begging for certain things: long-range missiles, battle tanks, those Patriot air defense systems. Things that could have made a real difference in their defenses.
Right, and we're not talking about just any weapons here. These were game changers, like those Patriot systems. They're designed to take down ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, even aircraft. If Ukraine had had those before the invasion, Russia wouldn't have had such easy control of the skies.
And imagine the difference those long-range missiles could have made on the ground.
It would have completely changed their strategy. They could have hit key Russian military targets from miles away, disrupted supply lines, maybe even slowed down the entire invasion.
It's pretty wild when you think about everything that was going on back then. You had the Afghanistan withdrawal, and then trying to keep NATO together with Trump's, let's say, unconventional approach to foreign policy.
There was a lot to handle.
And that's what makes this statement from Stoltenberg so important. He knows what was at stake.
Yeah.
So, knowing what we know now, here's the big question. Would earlier, stronger military aid to Ukraine have actually changed the course of this war? And what does that say about making decisions with incomplete information, about the what-ifs of global politics?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And I don't think there's a simple answer.
It really makes you consider the impact of those choices,
Yeah.
not just in the moment, but the ripple effects they have across the world.
And Stoltenberg is going to be right in the middle of these conversations as the new chairman of the Munich Security Conference.
Which is a huge deal. That's where these issues about international security and intervention are debated at the highest level.
Exactly. His perspective is going to carry a lot of weight.
One thing's for sure, understanding these decisions, seeing how we got here, that's crucial if we want to make better choices in the future.
Couldn't agree more.
We're going to have to leave it there for today, but this is a conversation that's far from over.
Far from over.